All right, so I'm going to show you how to chunk a resource that somebody sends you. So here is my evolution day 2 early life. This was done on uh, pen and paper with my kids because it's a pretty long reading, and then a bunch of questions for each section in the reading. And when we were face to face, one of my lower level classes, I actually broke the reading up and gave each I split them up into groups. So there was like 3 or 4 students working together on one section of the reading, and they each had their few questions in their reading guide packet that they were responsible for or answering. And then we like went around and shared it. So you could totally set that up if you wanted to chunk it the way that I'm going to show you, and then basically send it out in classroom to a few students where the 4 of them or 3 of them are responsible for a few questions. And then when you meet with them on Zoom, that can be like how you check off if they participated, right? So if there's 4 questions per 4 students, you ask one of each for 1 question. They have to be prepared and have all 4 of their questions done. And if they only have to read one section of it, it's probably only going to take them 10 to 15 minutes. So then again, it doesn't feel so stressful on them. So let me show you how to do that. I'm going to open up this presentation because these are actually the readings. And you can see that I, for the most part, actually already split them up. So this one page is one section of the reading, and then it's just broken up page by page, slide by slide. For the most part. Some are a little bit longer, like these few experiments. You could put them together, or you can give one group one experiment, so on and so forth. You can choose that depending on the students that you're working with. You can also just give them the entire reading. You can ask them to mark the text as far as putting in numbers. Putting in numbers are pretty easy. You can just put in little shapes, right? And put a big square right there. Oh, of course that happens. I don't even remember where I put my square now. Okay, so I'll just do it again. Go ahead and put a square in, and then you can just label it whatever you need, right? Number 1, maybe. You can make it really big. Bam, number 1. And you could tell them to then copy that box and number all the paragraphs if you wanted. This is actually a picture of a reading. It's not actually the reading itself. But if you go down in the presentation, I did actually link where the original text comes from. So if you wanted to just give them that link, you could also do that and then have the reading guide next to it, type of deal. Kami is a really great website where you can make PDFs and then have them edit a PDF on Kami. So if you want them to be able to really edit the text, you can do that as well. So let me show you how to actually break this up if you wanted to break up the reading. So what you would do is just hit make a copy and then copy the entire presentation. You could also just copy the selected slide. So if you just select one slide and then go and make a copy of early life, sure, you can always change that. You also have the ability to place it wherever in your Google Drive, so that way it stays relatively organized. And now you see that only that one slide was copied, even with that little shape that I added in to number the paragraphs. And then what you could do is you could come back here and then just delete it from there, and then you would have the rest. And then you could continue to make sections and chunk it that way. And then what I would do is probably just add a slide here with the questions from the reading guide that apply to that specific part of the reading. So you would basically just go one by one, copy that selected slide. Of course, you do not have to keep the copy of early life. You could then change it to maybe this is Origins of Life, the early ideas and experiments, and you can change the title of that and then keep going. And you can even just keep it in your original document. So that way, when you do go back to school, maybe next year, you have this original document as one big reading packet. Like I said, I still break it up for my students. I do have 90 minutes with them to be able to do this all together. So that's just a few ideas on how to chunk especially with resources being shared so much. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Let me know. We are better together.